Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Ooh, that's about all I can put out there today. Hey, does my voice sound like it's coming back? Please, listen. Good morning and welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. Such as it is, I'm here, Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, and you're here. So, hey, let's get it done. Listen, my guest for today will be here next Wednesday. He's an actor. Sterling is his name. And, something came up. He got some kind of an audition. So that came in yesterday and I didn't have time to replace him. So here we are. Lucy is getting her roots done again. So we have the Cat Dad cup I'm drinking out of today. And I thought, well, I should be preserving my voice, especially since I have to record 3 episodes today, which is 3 straight hours for our podcast, Licensed for Love with Jax Young. But then I thought it was too late to get a rerun thrown up. And I said, well, let me just come in and see what's going on. I can catch you up. I'll do it as long as I can. But if it starts hurting, I'll probably have to cut off early today, if that's okay. But I wanted to talk about with you guys the process of aging. I'm just saying. Why am I talking about that? Well, good morning, Lori. Good morning, James. I know that's you, Facebook user. He's on his 6-mile hike every day when he's listening. Good morning, Lori. And anyone else that's watching that I have not acknowledged, good morning to all of you. So anyway, you can, in how many days? I don't know. The 4th of July coming up. I'll be 60, the big 6-0. And so, over the last month, I went to Miami, came back with some exotic flu bug. That thing was worse than the COVID. I'm not kidding you. That flu bug Child, Lord have mercy. I am not kidding you. Because I was all dehydrated, go to the emergency room. Okay, so there was that. So as soon as that was over, I got cleared 2 days before we were due to go to Atlanta to get that honorary degree. And then I went, and then I came back. And the very day we got back Sunday night, I tested positive. Couldn't catch a break, right? So, aging. I learned so much about myself during the last 30 days. You know, I get up and I go to I'm eating my vegetarian sausage, y'all. I'm just so happy to have some appetite back. I lost like 16 pounds over the last month, and not in a good way. I'm not complaining because, yes, yeah, but I'm eating up everything in sight. So it's on its way back, trust me. But anyway, aging. Don't you guys remember how we used to get a cold or something and boom, wasn't nothing, pop right back. It's getting harder and harder for me anyway. So I want to send a shout out real quick to one of my good friends, Gabriel Klingman, who was also one of my coaching rock stars. I know I'm chewing and eating, but usually I eat when the guest is talking. And since I don't have a guest, I'll try not to let you see what's in my mouth. So Gabriel had COVID, and a bunch of his young millennial friends, of course. And so he sent me a care package. He overnighted. It was so sweet. This isn't even all of it. There were 4 things. I don't know what the other things upstairs, but I'm getting ready to put some of it in my coffee. This thing, in case you or someone you know happens to contract COVID, that there's a thing called COVID head. It's all foggy. And I'm kind of dealing with that now, although I'm on the other side of it. This really helps. It's called, on switch, focus and flow. And of course, this isn't just for when you have COVID, but for focus. So you put like one little, let me show you. This stuff is really good. I don't know where they found it, but I'm going to be on it. So you put one of these in your coffee. Kind of tastes like chicory. Are you familiar? You guys up on chicory? So it's called On Switch, 30 servings, focus and flow, chocolate. I would read what it says about it. Okay, it says, when you're on, everything clicks. Your mind is sharp. You're at your best. When you're on, people notice. And I'm going like this because the writing is so little. Okay, you need some carrot supplements after you read this because I cannot see. So anyway, this I love, on switch. And then I'm going to drop some of this in there too. This is called, I just opened it. I don't even know what it looks like yet. Yerby Plus. Okay. It's brain something. It got some mushroom stuff. Look at all the pretty colors. He said, not those kind. Lion's mane. It says it is nootropic, whatever. Lord have mercy. Get going, stay focused. So, okay, so this is some other kind of focus thing. There's so much stuff out there. Did any of you have COVID? And if you did, Lori, what do you mean you're aging horribly? I hate it. Every morning seems like a new wrinkle. Oh, I don't worry about those because black don't crack. I'm just saying. Well, but were you a tanner? Did you lay out and tan all your life, Lori? That might. Okay, I'm looking in here. Okay, they don't give me a scoop. So I'm going to just pour some in here. There I go, not following directions again. I'm going to just pour some in here. Oh. Ooh. It smelled like some dried mushrooms too. So I'm going to use my straw pen to stir this. And then I'm going to taste it on camera. Here goes. Ew. Just what was on the pen was nasty. Not bad at all. It was. But it's not about taste. Okay, and the last thing was this neural fuel. Now, these I do know really work. Focus and memory support for a better brain. 45 vegan tablets. It's a dietary supplement produced by a company called Natural Stacks. Neural fuel. The reason I say I know this works, I take 3 of these. I took these yesterday before I got on the road because yesterday, come hell or high water, I was headed to Michigan. I'll tell you why. They're huge. Okay, so they're all in me now. Let's see what happens over the next hour. So every year around June 4th, which is my birth mother, Lucille's birthday, we're 1 month apart. I'm July 4th. She's June 4th. I make a pilgrimage trip to Michigan where she and my brother Charles are laid to rest right beside each other. And I always take, the little flowers and stuff. And I sit out there for an hour or two. Yesterday was hard. I barely made an hour because it was 104 degrees in Michigan. Right? That grass I was sitting on felt like I was laying on top of a bunch of porcupines. It was so dry and brittle. Right. And I didn't take a blanket or anything. So anyway, I was just sitting there. So I went there, like I always do. And you might have seen it on my page. I always take something so I can explain to them, my brother and my sister. I can talk to them about my 2 greatest blessings from the year before. And this year I was on 3 covers, but this one was very, very special because we made history, by being on the front and the back. So I took that one and I shared it, and I took my honorary degree. And I shared it with both of them because thank you, Lori. Thank you for almost 60. You're sweet. Yeah, James, you're right. Remember that when they always say, if it ain't nasty, it ain't working. When they give you nasty medicine, that means it's good for you when it tastes nasty. That's so funny. That's pretty much how it works, right? So anyway, 444. That's my angel number. Why'd you put that up there? So anyway, I go and I'm sitting there and I'm talking to them about these blessings. And I'm going to tell you something that happened yesterday that has never happened before. Now, let me back up a little. My adoptive mother, Ada, now both my moms hang in the foyer of our home. I have them both right above and below each other. And my adoptive mom, still to this day, she died in 1976. She does not have a headstone. And so it's hard to go visit her because you don't know where it is, right? There was a tree I knew when I was a kid because I would jump the fence from the playground to the graveyard, and the tree, I would use it as a marker, but it was a sapling back then. Now there's big ass trees there. I don't know which one was which. So I don't know how to find it. So I kind of just walk out there and just talk in any direction. I know you're out here somewhere, but with Lucille, my birth mother, it helps that she has a marker. I know how to go right to it. But yesterday, you guys, I realized something I didn't know. Our relationship, okay, now, I met her for the second time after we were separated when I was just a couple weeks old. I met her the second time when I was 32 years old, and she was 32 when she had me. So that number must mean something. I wish the Oracle was here. So anyway, but those 32 years that we were separated, I felt a pulse inside the relationship, even though I didn't know who she was or where she was. I didn't even see my birth certificate until I turned 18. But even before then, I knew she was out there. So anyway, there was this pulse, like a pulse, that I could feel her. So anyway, yesterday, for the very first time, seriously, sitting there and speaking with her, I really, really felt her presence. It was uncanny. It was really interesting. And I only say that in case any of you, and I'm sure most of us, have lost someone along the journey. And a lot of people don't go out and visit. I don't know why, but they don't. It's just not their thing, apparently. But whatever you do, just know that it is possible to still maintain that relationship. Miss Celine Monique, this is for you because I know how you are with your mom. And I just want you to know, maybe you know this. Chime in, Missy, if you know what I'm talking about. How I promise you, yesterday felt so different. It was almost like I could hear her side of the conversation where usually I just talk, you know. Hi, mom. Hi, Charles. Da 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 da. Brian says hello. Um, oh, my mom's birthday, my birthday, and the temperature. And James, did you know that's my angel number? Oh, Latoya Rose. Latoya Rose. Not the Latoya Rose. The one they told me aliens took. Girl, they brought you back. Where's that baby? I just love, well, she's a little grown woman now. I love Latoya Rose, you guys. Talk about Black generational wealth. That's my girl right there. So anyway, Miss Aline says absolutely. She said, y'all had an exchange. That's beautiful. Yes, we did. We did. And I'm gonna tell you something. That's what I love. That's one of the things that I honor about the aging process is that when we're open, we really can keep learning things. I know that sounds totally ludicrous, like duh, Lauren. But you know how we think we know everything? Child, I'm 60 years old. There ain't nothing I ain't seen. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. So yesterday, I sat there for the first time. I didn't cry. And I felt guilty about that for a minute. Like, well, it's not like I don't miss you like I always did. That's why I'm not crying. I felt like smiling. You know, it reminded me of when I understood that what was different in my world, that I was now investing in living instead of investing in killing myself. There was a real switch. There was a real switch. Um, um, so I got 2 Facebook users out there. Miss Celine says it was a happy moment. It really was a happy moment. But anyway, the aging process, so much to it. So much to it. I realized this last month, I need to be a little bit more proactive. What I mean by that is this. Every time something doesn't feel right in me, I reach for the blue and red, like the Tylenol thing. When look at all the stuff that's out there. Um, I don't know. Do you tell me what you do? Do you feel like you could do better as far as what you do for yours? I mean, I get up every day. I didn't today. It wore me out yesterday. This COVID thing, even though I'm testing negative now, I'm on the other side of it. All I want to do still is sleep. This morning, I say this for all of you who have not contracted it, and I hope you don't. I'm not kidding you. This morning, 4:44, no, 4:14, the alarm went off. I said, I'm going to 4:44. I reset it. No sooner than I reset it, it went off again. I was like, how can that be? Every time, till all the way up till 7 o'clock. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. So I think yesterday took a lot out of me. Took me 4 hours to get home, whereas it only took me 2 hours to get there. Traffic was horrible. So anyway, I get home. No sooner than I got home, it was time to have dinner and go to bed. So I started thinking last night about what I should do to really lay out, like storyboard something in my world that I can keep my what do you call that thing? The scope, like when you're looking down the barrel of a rifle or something, it's got that thing when they say within your sights, that thing. I need to I go and get, oh, that's coming up. I go and get my yearly physical. Every year, right around, it's either the 3rd or the 5th, because the 4th of July, of course, they don't want to see anybody at the VA. They're closed. But I go, and I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to stop at that this year. I always just wait. Okay, give me my lab reports. Okay, da 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 da. But this year, I think I'm going to add some things, not just going to the gym, but I think I might add, like James. James walks 6 miles every single day. Now, I don't know if I can do all that, but I'll find my own thing. My great grandfather, you guys have heard me say this before, he lived to be 111, 111, something like that, 111, 112. He had his last child when he was 97 years old. He outlived 3 wives, and they were all 10 to 15 years younger than him when he married them. So it's in us, it's in our blood line that, but why is it? Okay, here it goes. Sometimes when I have to face things about aging, it's scary. It scares me because I think, uh-oh, is that my old person thing coming? Uh-oh. Even when something really great happens, for instance, I'll be honest with y'all. I'll be honest. You know how I told you I was afraid when the cap and gown came? The cap and gown came. It sat in the living room for about 4 days in the box. I didn't open it. I knew what it was because it said on there, tassels and something, whatever the name of the company was. But I wouldn't even walk through the living room. I mean, through the dining room. I would go out the front door, cray, out the front door, walk all the way around the house, come in through the slider off the deck just to avoid walking past it. It felt like a dead body was in there because that imposter syndrome thing. I didn't realize had such a on me. So what the big deal with that was, this whole Dr. Lauren thing, which is why I'm leaving it on the screen, it is to indoctrinate myself. Because as I get older, I didn't realize, I didn't know how to handle blessings that I didn't actually have a hand in manifesting. Does that make sense? Now, what I mean by that is, in my journey since I was a little boy, y'all, I had my imaginary friends, which I know now they're not imaginary at all because they're here right now. But back then, that's how I referred to them because I didn't want people to think, boy, what's wrong with him? Right. So now that I'm getting older, I'm realizing that the aging process has a lot of slices to it, a whole bunch of different things. And as far as manifesting, I'm at a point in my journey where what is greater than, they're bringing me opportunities that I could have never seen coming. And I tell people this, okay, go back to the Billie Jean, Michael Jackson video. Remember that? And he steps on the sidewalk and it lights up in front of him. That's kind of how it's always been in my world. I would ask for something. I would speak something into existence and I would see the sidewalk light up. And there it would be, along with usually other things that would go with it. But now, as I near 60, it's like the sidewalk lights up, but it's not any color. It's just clear, but I can tell it's lit up. Those are the things that greater than has for me, that they're like, go ahead and step on it. I'm like, but what is it? I don't know. Step on it and find out. And then that's where I realized, ooh, I need to work on my faith. Seriously. Because I did not have any clue that I'm not as comfortable as I feel I should be just inside the arms of purpose. I mean, it's really like just, that thing that they use, that team building thing. Remember back in the day where they make you they blindfold you and they say, now fall back into the arms of that person and trust them. I don't care who it is. It's still scary because you're like, what if they just try to be funny? Right. And boom, damn, down I go. It's kind of like that for me. And I'm interested in how you all deal with it. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And you see, I don't know how to even talk about it. Lori says, I feel all sliced up from aging. I don't want to post pictures anymore. That's interesting, Lori, because I had that on the front end. I didn't like the way I looked or felt for 30s, 40s. And then I came to that transformation piece when I turned 50 and I transformed my body. And all of a sudden I loved the way I looked. So the aging thing for me, I don't care about what I look like or anything anymore. I'm just glad to be here. That's the truth, y'all. Because I never could see myself past 40 at first. And then my brother Charles, who we looked exactly alike, we sounded exactly alike. And then he died at 50 in his sleep. So I kept thinking, I'm not going to live past 50. Because look at Charles. But I did, clearly. And so, someone says, faith is the key to life. Lori says she's not comfortable. Why, Lori? Why? I'm interested because you're not the only one. You can't be. You're not the only one. Let's talk about it. Micheline says, Micheline, she goes, I'm excited to become a more seasoned human. Now I love that. Now that I love. So yeah, it's a real thing. Now let me just say this. I am excited to find something that throws that great big question mark in front of me. I'm going to tell you why. For so many decades, I was afraid of any question mark. I used to think, what is that? How come I don't, if I couldn't see it completely, if I didn't understand it from the rooter to the tutor, and I was afraid of it. And then God told me, Lauren, I am the question mark. If you don't see a question mark on the other side of any threshold, I provide you with doors and windows of opportunity. When you look through the window or you are looking on the other side of the threshold through that door, the first thing you should see is a question mark. Why? Because that's proof that I, God, am in here. I'm in it. And I was like, because they said to me, if you didn't have anything to question, it's a setup. It's to make you think through ego. Well, you already know everything. When was that ever the case? Never. When I thought I knew everything, I'm going to just keep it real. I didn't know shit. So I look for the question mark today because it means in my world that what is greater than is in it with me. Think about that. What do you look for to know that, okay, there's the road? Because I was saying yesterday, this is another new thing for me that I'm really starting to embrace. The tandem, the bicycle built for two, if you will, known as choice and decision. I, for a long time, thought that these two things were the same. They aren't. For instance, when we see a fork in the road, I can go to the right, or I could go to the left. The left and the right are the choices. The decision is which one I chose. I decided to go to the left. So I decided to choose that path. I decided to choose that path. I used to think choice and decision were the same. What about you? Keep it real. Did you know that they were different? They are. So good morning, Jeanette. Good morning. How are you? Lori says, because I can see the change in the last 2 years, I feel like I'm Ma Kettle's cousin. Ma and Pa Kettle go to town. Remember that? Those were some good old movies. Excuse me. Wisdom is what we are gaining, Facebook user says. Seasoned with salt. Someone says faith and work. Yeah. So this aging process, let me ask you guys, let's do something here. I'm going to put mine in too. What is the one thing you're afraid of? If anything, are you afraid of any part of getting older? Are you? Okay. I'm going to say this. Those aren't good when they're cold. Veggie links. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I'm afraid of. And I'm not really afraid of it. I just need to incorporate it. I want to keep my mind sharp. You know, I go to the gym and I do all that stuff. Clearly, I'm just playing. Kind of. But those things that, okay, let's put it this way. How many of you, do you remember? I know I wasn't the only one because a lot of people admit this. Remember when you used to get the newspaper and they had obituaries in it? Were you ever intrigued? I was. I would go to, even when I was in my 20s, I'd go to the obituaries and I'd start looking at how old the people were to see what the average age was. And usually it was somewhere in the 80s, right? And I was like, okay, I got a long time. Now I'm almost 60. That means 20 years from now, that'll be me. Should I get there? So I am looking for ways for me to be okay with every day. I mean, how can we be happy about life and manifest and be joyful and be afraid of the calendar? It doesn't seem like it should be. Now, someone says, Facebook user says, remember you taught me about the fire truck and the ladder. This is how I run my life. The only thing I fear is death as I get older. Now, I'm going to tell you something. That's one part that has started moving backwards for me. Seriously. I used to be afraid of death. I thought it was chasing me. And I'm not afraid of it anymore. And I'll tell you why. I just had this conversation yesterday. Good morning, Ross. Good morning. How are you, my friend? Good morning, fam. Because I started purposefully dying every day to something that didn't serve me. And when you do that in little bitty gulps, like a guppy, instead of taking, big, huge gulps, I started dying to little things every day, things that didn't serve me. I started fearing less that death, which is the one that most of us are afraid of, which I consider transitioning. And when I wasn't dying to the things that didn't serve me, I was afraid of that other death. But the more I started understanding dying to something that didn't serve me each and every day, that automatically shifted. That's all I can say about that. Jeanette says, I want to control everything, and not knowing what is to be is losing a sense of control. I know that I can't control a lot of things, especially in my environment, but I still think about that. That's a good point. That's a good point. Did Ross, did I say that already? Good morning. Bernadette, good morning to you, sweetheart. Good morning to you. You need to get on the docket. Get in there and sign up. Use the calendar, Bernadette. I'm getting ready to get back on y'all because I'm coming back out of this wishy-washiness. Talking to all my coaching clients. They've had it easy the last month. Miss Aline says she's afraid of losing family. Oh, speaking of losing family. Now, that's another thing that actually helps. I'll tell you how it helped me. Uncle Walter, that's my mom's brother. He like Uncle Pete. Remember Uncle Pete? in the movies, lived upstairs in the room, Uncle Pete, right? Well, we had Uncle Walter, and my mom pretty much took care of him all of her adult life. He had a nervous break early in his life, and it was never the same, and so he fell to her. And when she passed away, um, the family put him in a nursing home, and I was one of two people in the town where he was living, so I would go and visit. And he told me, begged me, the second time I went there, Lord, get me out of here. I'm going to die in here. They had him in the Alzheimer's unit and locked in, and he didn't deserve to be there. He wasn't that bad yet. He had dementia, but nothing like in need of a memory care unit. So I found a way. It was so interesting because I was literally still homeless, living in the Salvation Army shelter. I didn't have a car yet. And Uncle Walter, the money I was saving, I took it and I went and I spoke to his caseworker and I said, I need to get him out of there. And I found an adult foster home that could take him. But it was an additional $300 a month to what the state would pay for him. So the money that I was saving for my apartment, which was a hard decision because I'd been in that shelter for like 4 months and you can stay there a year. So I did it. I took him out and I put him in the adult foster home, and I thought I was starting from scratch. And before you know it, something changed in my life. And not only was I able to pay for Uncle Walter, I was able to pay for my apartment too. And then I needed a car because Uncle Walter had a lot of appointments. He had glaucoma surgeries, cataract surgeries coming up. And the only way he could get that stuff was if one of the family members took him back and forth. And as soon as I said, okay, I'll figure out a way, I thought I'd borrow a vehicle or something. No, I'm not kidding. In a week, a woman at church walked up to me and said, hey, I've got a tracker for sale for $600 and I'll let you pay $100 a payment if you want it. You can have it today. Suddenly I had a vehicle. And my point in all that is I took on, I'll never forget it. It was a joy to care for Uncle Walter. It was a joy to know that my mom was looking down or looking around, however they look from there, and saw that I was doing my best to take care of Uncle Walter. And it was just amazing because I didn't think I had enough at my disposal to even take care of myself. How in the world am I going to take care of you, Uncle Walter? But the moment I got out of it, I made it about something and someone other than myself. Everything I needed for me and him showed up. Every single thing. So I want you to remember that. Sometimes, because then when Uncle Walter passed, I hadn't even considered this. Guess who moved into the patriarch role? I was like, oh my goodness, I'm that guy now. And I did not even fully realize that until Brian and I were in Atlanta a couple weekends ago. And I went that Friday night, we Ubered out to one of the, I don't remember the name of the town, but my niece, Ebony, and all her kids were there. My nephew, my brother Charles's son, Chad, they were all there. They all came out and we fellowshipped. And I remember I stood back and I was watching all of them as they gathered around, and they were just standing in the kitchen and they were making Crown Royal margaritas, which I had never had, and they were good. And I just looked and I said, look at the future of my bloodline. And I understood instantly. I understood why I was getting what you see on the screen right there. Dr. Lauren. And boy, what a moment. What a moment. It was one of those times where you go, I could die right now and be totally okay with it. And so that was something I could have never expected. Jeanette says, God provided you with all of the resources. Selfless acts brought you more than you expected. So true, so true, so very true. And then Ross, when we look outside of ourselves and bless others, it comes back to us tenfold. That's true too. Lori, let's see. Lori, she come up with some good ones, don't she? She says, as we get older, things start to drag our nose. Things start to drag. Our nose gets bigger in ears. Girl, and so forth. Seen an old longtime friend and didn't recognize her. I don't want to go through this situation. One day look in the mirror and say, what the hell happened to you? Y'all, let's talk to Lori. Lori, listen to me. Listen to me. One thing we should understand as we get older is that everything that we do as we get older is based on perspective. It's all about perspective. If you feel like you're old, you will appear to yourself as if you're old. You know, I stopped saying, man, I don't, or when I get old. No, I started changing it to older. Because I remember when I turned 19, this little boy came up to me and said, hey, mister. And I was like, mister? Quit calling me that. I'm only 19. But he was 3. And to him, I looked old. Think about it. And so my mom, Lucille, used to say, because I'd ask her, she'd go on her birthday, she would say, well, I made it to 73. God willing, I'll see 74. And I say, what's it feel like, Mom? She goes, it feels like it feels. She goes, if you're afraid of getting older, what's the alternative? I'm like, got a point. And so I think about it like this. Every day that we're here, it's an opportunity to ask, well, must still be here for a reason. Let me get out today and find out what it is. Because every single day, remember when I told you they told me this? Lauren, for the rest of your journey, just wake up every day. Wake up every day and say, okay, now what can I do today to bring to this world that they've never seen? Which means I now turn to myself and look at myself and say, okay, Lauren, what must you do today that you've never done? Think about it. Think about it. Keep reaching, keep stretching. Keep digging in the cushions, of your life and pulling out things that may have slipped in between. Turn those junk drawers out and start, if you don't believe me, we have a junk drawer upstairs that is so packed. It's in the kitchen. You go in there for something, you better not open that drawer all the way up because it'll take you 2 days to get it shut. Because it's got so much shit in it. And every time we go in there, we dig for one paper clip, or we dig for one push pin, or we dig for the tape. And then just don't even pay attention to all the other stuff that's in there. And then squish it all back so we can cram the door shut again. And I always say to myself, I'm going to come back and dump that drawer out this weekend and get rid of all that stuff in there that clearly doesn't even matter. But then I don't. There's something about that junk drawer that makes me feel comfortable. There's something about that junk drawer that makes us feel like all is right in this world. Think about that. Why do we have to have a junk drawer? Put it in the comments. Do you have a junk drawer? Yes or no? And the reason I say that's important is everything I believe personally, everything in our world, our outside world, is there as a clue about something fulfilling the same role inside of us. And the reason I believe that is I remember with my adoptive mom, Ada, when I was a little boy, and I loved my bedroom. It had double doors, right? And my mom would walk past there, look in, and she'd say, I'm gonna need you to go in there and clean that room up. I'm tired of looking at it like that. And I'd be busy. Okay, okay. So she'd stay on my ass about it. And I'm not gonna tell you again, I don't want to see that room looking like that. So I'd go in and I'd shut the doors and go back out and do what I do. And she said, didn't I tell you? I said, I know, but you also said you just didn't want to see it. So I shut the doors. What's the difference? She goes, I'll tell you what the difference is. Everything that's going on in that room, the disarray, the disorganization, the lack of care for the things that are important to you. All your favorite books are just thrown around on the floor. All those toys that you claim are your favorites, they are not where they're supposed to be. Put them back in their place. Because what is going on in there tells me what's going on in here and in here with you. So go in that room, Lauren. Well, it was Larry back then. Go in there, Larry, and clean it up. Don't just shut the door and hide it. Face it and clean it up. And I've never, never, never forgotten that. So anything you see in the outside world, look around you. You know, like I look at my situation here, around here, and it could, to some people, might appear like a mess, but it's an organized mess. I know what's in this pile. I know kinda what is in this pile, kinda, but I know it's in front of me for a reason. It's not over in that pile, right? But I also know that I can only manage so many piles. So I have to be honest with myself for when to say, okay, Lauren, you're a disorganized mess, or your organized mess, however you look at it, is changing. It is getting outside of that realm of understanding of why it works for you. If it begins to do that, it becomes chaos. And I have to be careful of that. And I have to be honest with myself of that and say, okay, today this changes. I'm blocking my Calendly. I'm not doing any coaching. I'm not doing anything, but I'm cleaning up this mess today. So, Lori says, I don't feel old. I just look it now. Could have been the stress and the COVID lockdown in the last few years. Okay. Perspective. Does everyone walk up to you and say, girl, what happened? You sure looking rough. That's us thinking that. That's us feeling that. Lori, I tell you, get out of your own way. Be grateful. Be grateful that you have your clarity of mind. Be grateful that you can love on others and know how to be loved in return. Find everything that is right and run with it. That's all I got to say on that one. Russ says, oh, I have a junk drawer, all right, and I cram everything back in just like you. Hi, Robert. Good morning. Jeanette says, I have a junk drawer. It serves a purpose with something that when I need it We know it will be there. I look at it daily. It's full of surprises at times. Yeah, that is fun too. Honestly, when you sit through and you go, "Oh, I remember that." Just like I have a thing upstairs where every time something breaks, a refrigerator magnet falls off the refrigerator and a little tip breaks off. Brian wants to throw it away. No, put it in there. I'm going to fix it one day. It's just like that drawer with all the instruction booklets. We got one of those. What is that? And I am the one person that will not pull out the instruction, but I'll try to figure it out. Be 18 different screws left over when I'm done and wonder why the shit fell over 2 weeks later. Got that drawer too. That's a whole nother show. Gratitude is the attitude, says Jeanette. And that's so true. So, aging. Look around. We got a garage sale coming up. We're going to start labeling everything this week. And then we're putting it out next week. And we're doing that so that we can die to those things that don't serve us anymore, to make room for those things that will be there when we need them today and tomorrow to serve us. I want you guys, as we get out of here today, and we're going to leave just a little bit early because I need to try to preserve. I thank you for putting up with it. Is this. Oh, Ross, you said you have a book to write that must be finished by the end of the month. Well, my man, you got half a month left. Get her done. Get her done. We're sending you all you need to make that a reality. Wait a minute. Lori says, I went on a few dates, and it hurts when they start noticing my face, pulling it back to see the younger me. I blame it on them making me. You mean like in Peter Pan with Robin Williams, where they went like this, go, oh, there you are, Peter. Girl, I believe you're helping that mindset. Girl, get out of there. Get out of that. Lori, don't do that. And listen, what that tells me, it's time for you to get away from those places that where you're going places where you're tolerated. No. Only go places where you're celebrated. That's it. That's it. Choice and decision. Know the difference. Know the difference. Bernadette, thank you. I will feel better. Thank you, Jeanette. I will feel better. I claim that. I claim that. Listen, Lori, we love you. We embrace you. And I think you look perfect. From top to bottom, bottom to top. I think you are perfect from side to side, side to side. And I know you are perfect from corner to corner, corner to corner. Never, ever, ever, never forget, you guys, that God, source, spirit, greater than, none of them make mistakes. They simply choose to make it interesting. So keep it interesting. Be interesting. Be the best you. The moment we open our eyes, it is proof that we are great because we made it to another day of the journey. Now get up and find that one E and that one R, and you make it your life's work today to take great to greater, bright to brighter, strong to stronger, nice to nicer. And for those of you who just are country as hell, take good to gooder. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Listen, you all, we are here. Jeanette, thank you for that. Be who you are. Everyone else is taken. You know, and that's so true. And remember this. If two of us are in the same space and we're exactly the same, well, shit, that merely means that one of us is unnecessary. And I'm going to leave it there. Be grateful that you are unique, because that is proof that you're still necessary. All right. Listen, I didn't bring down, I still got stuff upstairs in the quarantine center that I need to bring down. I do have a guest tomorrow, and it's a good one. I just don't remember who it is. But they will be here, God willing. And so will we. And you guys remember this, no matter what, you are necessary. Get out there today and be the blessing that you want to see in this world. Get out there today and just be. Just be. Yesterday, when I set foot out at, it's called North Shore Memorial Gardens. You know, I always span the entire panoramic view of all those headstones. And there was someone, they were dropping down as I was leaving. And I looked over and I just said, rest in peace. Rest in peace. And, you know, one day we all will go to what is next. Worry about that when it comes. Today, just be your best. And when you are, what is greater than? Trust me, it's going to take care of all the rest. And that's a promise. I love each and every one of you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'll meet you out front tomorrow morning, God willing, on the front porch, where we'll do it all again as we have another illuminated conversation right here at Bathrobe Moments. Love you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.